Drivers paid an extra 6 pence per litre for fuel last year at supermarkets. That's according to a watchdog. The Competition and Markets Authority stated that supermarkets are usually the cheapest places to buy fuel, but a lack of competition had driven up prices.
Well, the margins increasing by 6 pence per litre between 2019 and 2022. Indeed, supermarket giant Asda fined £60,000 by the authority for failing to provide relevant information in a timely manner. The supermarket has replied by saying the Comprehensive Road Fuel Market Review recognised Asda as the price leader and confirmed the presence of an Asda petrol station in a local area keeps prices down for all motorists. They went on to say that the fine related to 2 individual alleged technical breaches in the way the information was shared, and insisted we engaged fulsomely with the inquiry. However, the authority perhaps has disagreed with that.
Well, joining us to discuss this is former racing driver, broadcaster and motoring journalist Amanda Stretton. Thanks for joining us on GB News, Amanda. This is good news for the driver. I mean, we could even see, hopefully, petrol prices dropping between 140 maybe very soon now.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? Hopefully this is going to be good news for the motorist, particularly if the fuel finder scheme actually comes into existence. Now, this is a scheme put forward by the Competitions and Markets Authority, backed by ministers as well, to help motorists actually compare fuel prices in their area. Because at the moment, there's actually nothing that forces supermarket fuel stations to actually publish their prices unless you actually drive to the filling station itself. So it's very hard for motorists to actually compare prices and find their cheapest fuel station in their local area. But yeah, let's hope this is going to be good news for the motorists, because they certainly need some.
Yeah, do you think the government actually needs to toughen up on this? I mean, I know there are apps available on mobile phones where you can compare prices, but they all seem to be pretty much of a muchness. And, of course, it was Asda, particularly, that was driving down the prices at the main retailers. And that seems to have failed in these recent years.
I think something like this is going to be very useful for motorists, and it's going to stop overcharging. I think we've been familiar for many, many years, certainly as long as I've been driving, which I'm afraid to say is well into the decades now, of motorists not being passed on the savings when wholesale prices in oil and gas actually fall. So it takes a long time for those prices to actually filter through to the pumps, whereas the retailers waste no time in putting their prices up as soon as there is a rise.
Yeah.
So we've been very familiar with that for a long time. I think now what this is going to do is really sort of jiggle the market around, shake it up a bit, and actually create some active competition where there hasn't really been that much in the year to date.
Yeah, and of course, let's reflect too that the figure when they've looked at diesel is a margin of 13 pence per litre, particularly these last few months where they've kept it artificially high, it seems. And that, of course, feeds into transport costs then.
Absolutely. I mean, there is not a single product or service that any of us use, buy, consume that doesn't actually at some point have some road transport in it. And all of those costs are passed on to us as the consumer. So whether it's us using our own cars or whether us buying food or other goods and services, we are all still paying for these increased prices.
And can we expect that this drop in fuel prices will filter down to the motorway service stations as well? I mean, I was banging on about this earlier because it's shocking what they charge.
It certainly is. Let's hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, fuel retailers are private companies, and as such, it is their responsibility to make a profit for their shareholders. And I don't think anybody really begrudges them making a profit. I think where it sticks in the back of motorists' throat is when they know they're being fleeced, for want of a better word. We know that, 2 miles off the motorway, we could be paying 5, 6, 7p a litre less for fuel than we do actually on the motorway. And so the service stations are really capitalising on that convenience factor.